What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a very special installment of AskPJBraun here at Blackstone Labs headquarters. If you don't know, let me introduce five-time AVN winner Kendra Lust here with us today to answer all of your maybe less than inappropriate questions.
We'll see where it goes. Hi, everyone.
Big day. This is a big day today.
Welcome.
I was very excited. I always wake up early, but I woke up and I started texting the guys like how excited I was about today. Group texted everybody. So I've actually had a little bit of anxiety though all morning, making sure that we got this ready on time.
I actually, it didn't happen on Christmas this year. I went to sleep just fine on Christmas, but last night I just couldn't sleep. I was like, this is so great. This is better
That's
than
the
Christmas.
effect that you have, Kendra.
Oh, thanks for being here, or thanks for letting me be on the podcast. I'm excited. So yeah.
Do you ever get tired of guys like being that way with you, or are you just totally okay with it?
It's hard for me to. I know, and it's funny. Like people I work with are like, well, don't you're like a sex symbol or a sex icon, and I don't see myself like that. I mean, I feel just me. So a lot of times, I'm kind of oblivious. I don't even notice because I'm kind of in my own world. But I don't know. I'm at an age now where I really appreciate it. So it doesn't bother me.
I mean, I'll give you for the listeners a very opposite answer to that question. So I have women throw themselves at me all of the time, and I welcome it, and I will appreciate more for the ladies out there who have maybe been a little shy of talking to me. Just lay it on me. I can't get enough of it.
Lay it on thick.
Lay it on thick.
Slather it on there for him.
So I wanted to bring Kendra on because I found out recently that a friend of mine was a personal trainer friend of mine who trains a lot of women over 40 had been basically treating, I don't want to say treating, but I suppose you could say treating menopause with Entice Her. And he reached out to me saying, like, he had at least a dozen women that were doing so good. And, he had read this study on maca, which is the main ingredient in Entice Her, and how good it is for women. So I was like, you know what? I should bring Kendra on and do some stuff, to hype up Entice, because that is our product together. And Kendra was a nurse, so I'm sure you've dealt with women, going through menopause before. And, you're going to be in that position as a woman as well, no matter what. You can't fight it. That's life. And now, you know that you can take something herbally every day that's going to make you feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
And perform.
And I have my bottle right here, like on my desk, my motivator. So I love it. I'm really proud to say, I'm proud of my age. I'm not ashamed. I turned 40 this year. So, I don't know. At first it was like kind of shocking, but in all honesty, 40 is really great. I can't explain it. I don't know what changes, but it's a combination of the Entice and just age, but sex drive is great. I love to talk about it. I love to share it. I actually have women that come up to me at the gym and ask me for like tips, So I think it's really cool. And having Entice, it's really cool to be able to have something for them, in addition to advice. So it's like, here, try a sample. So personally, I've connected with some people locally that Entice has helped, and it's really cool. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got a text from one of our athletes this morning who's 45. Mm-hmm. And she started taking Entice this week because she had heard about what we were doing with the podcast, and she texted me this morning and said, "Oh my God, Entice is amazing." And so, Josh, I'll show you who it is after. I want to embarrass her on the air, but I didn't think to market it that way. I guess that's a mistake on my part, but I'm happy because now we have a whole new way to market Entice. It's not just for increasing your fun times during sex. It's not just for enhancing the experience. It's actually something that can be taken every single day. Once you're over 40, really for the rest of your life, to make you feel better, balance your hormones more efficiently.
In the same way that men take HRT
Exactly.
to, everybody wants to tell you like, oh, 30, 40, it's just getting old, man. It's just the feeling of getting old. And it's really not true. You really just have probably low T, and you go to the doctor and you get supplemented for that. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, wow, I have so much energy. I feel so much stronger. It's kind of the same thing. And that's one thing that I think is important about Entice is that, in the market, you have a vast, endless, infinite amount of products for men and basically like nothing for women.
Yeah.
Like how is it even possible that we could just completely forget about the clearly more important half of the entire equation? Like,
yes, I agree with you on that, because without us, you're not having sex.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's getting laid if the girls aren't.
But
I love it.
I originally was going to put this product out under Blackstone, and then I started thinking like maybe I'll start another LLC, and I won't tell the long version of the story, but I sent some to Kendra to try, and she said that she thought it was going to be like bullshit, like come on, give me a break, you're going to give me a pill that's going to make my sex better, and then she texted me and she was like, holy crap, like her exact words were, if you can make every woman feel like that, you're going to make $1 billion. And I was like, wow, you think it's that good?
And that's coming from like number one in the industry.
Yeah, so that's why I sent it to her. I didn't want some girl that like has barely had sex doing it. I wanted an all-star.
If that's coming from Kendra, you already know it's going to work wonders for you.
Yes.
Yeah, and people in the industry know, like to even on film, like I'm pretty real, and I try to express my true sexuality as much as I can within the director, whatever they allow. But so I think coming from me, and I say it with conviction because I've used it and I know what it does. So it speaks volumes. I mean, especially in the industry. So
volumes.
Plus, I get to tell people that I make Kendra Lust come hard.
Boom.
Right?
What an advantage.
Without touching her, sadly, but I still get to make her come hard.
And just.
Well, hey, I mean, you're a pleaser, so.
Yes, I am.
A people pleaser of all kinds.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I can talk about Kendra coming for hours, and I'll tell you this. I'm not lying. I say this all the time, and it's not a joke. But I consistently, even though we're friends and partners, masturbate to Kendra Lust, and I will for the rest of my life. It's a regular part of my life. I'm not embarrassed about it, and it's a part of my relationship with her that I feel is kind of important, because although we'll never have sex, and I understand that, I feel more of an intimate connection with her.
And any man out there listening to this that says that you, in this position, sitting right here where we are right now, would say, oh, no, I haven't watched any of your work. You're lying.
Yeah, you're lying.
You are fucking
Every now and
lying.
then somebody will be like, oh, I don't know who she is. I'm like, shut up. Yes, you do.
Well, everybody has a genre, though. So not everybody's into MILFs.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
So I agree. Everybody does have a genre, but it doesn't matter what your genre is. Everybody knows that you are the number one MILF.
Yes. Everybody knows that.
No man on this planet has ever watched porn in their life. The only men that don't know that are men that don't have access to the internet.
So my ex from back in the day comes on to my Q&A all the time, and we're still like friends after all these years. She's married, got a kid and everything. No ill will. We dated for like 4 years, from like 19 to 23, and she's actually really into porn also. That was like a thing that we had between each other. And so when all this started happening with Entice, she was like, thought it was so cool and yada, yada, yada. And at one point she was like, so you guys fucked, right? And I was like, no. And so she liked to tell people for a while that I was like a man whore after we broke up. I like to consider just being cool.
You old beef slut.
And I was like, no, I didn't. She was like, seriously? I was like, I swear to God. And she goes, why? And I was like, the opportunity is just not there for me. And she was like, that sucks for you. I would. And I was like, I bet you would. It's good to know you still have the same taste as I do, but it is strictly business.
Yes, it is. And I think people think because I do adult that, I'm having sex with everybody that I'm working with, or it's just, and it doesn't always work that way. So, yes, it's fun to do what I do, but, you have to separate it at times. So, yeah.
Would you agree that if you're following the guidelines to the adult industry and staying within those guidelines, it's actually a lot safer when it comes from the sexual, transmitted diseases standpoint than just being somebody that's out partying and going around town.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
I trust industry people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's nothing to, I'm not trying to offend civilians in any way, shape, or form. And I know I hate to use that term, but ultimately, if you're in the industry, you're much safer. I mean, we're tested every 14 days. We know our status. Like, I was just tested on the third of the month. So, so I know exactly where I'm at. Where a lot of people, they don't. It's just not something. I don't know. I think people think that they are immune to.
They do.
And and if a girl looks hot, and or a guy is hot, that they're not, they don't have anything, and that's really scary. So
now new studies are coming out about the high percentages of HPV, and that they eventually lead to all sorts of forms of cancer. So, and then people are just passing these things around without realizing it. And not only are you passing, a disease around, but you're also basically saying, here, if this doesn't screw your life up, go have cancer in 20 years, Right. So most of my industry friends, although I'm not in that industry, they never have sex with civilians without a condom. Like, they're very, very, very forward about it. And most of my non-industry friends, like, I'll be honest, like, I hated condoms. Like, if I had to use a condom, I'd be like, fuck it, I don't want to have sex. Yeah. Fortunately, my blood work, I was lucky enough to be okay. I had some freaking scary moments back in the day, but the average person these days is very careless with stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think it's just lack of education or what the whole condom thing. Guys don't want to use them, and particularly I don't like condoms either. But yeah, you have to be safe, guys. All
right, well, we don't want to not be able to answer all the questions. There's a lot of questions for you, as I expected.
I'm like retaining myself. Like, I want to get deeper into this.
So do I. I know. We should just have Kendra as a regular guest.
I want my own questions for Kendra, but we have to get to this. Literally, there's a Bible stack of questions.
People would get mad. Like, if we did a regular show, I feel like the listeners would get mad because I would be asking all of my own questions. Even though I've been talking to Kendra for years, I still have endless questions for her.
I love questions.
Tell me about this girl. And we're not gonna get into this conversation, but I oftentimes ask Kendra and Randy, who many of you will not know, but Randy is, well, what is his position? He's always with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, just when I'm in LA, but I mean, he was texting me this morning about his cat.
His cat is so cute. Oh my God.
So Randy has been a friend of mine for about 6 years, actually 7 now. And we met a little bit before I started in the industry, and we remained in contact. And then when I opened the agency, I thought he would be a good fit. So he basically runs a talent agency and helps with, outside projects, facilitating, different things. So yeah.
So what I love about Randy is, you guys are going to have like your fantasy view of Kendra. And I, of course, have that view also, but Kendra's like the sweetest person alive. So she won't say anything bad about people. So I'll ask about certain people and she'll give like the really like diplomatic answer. And then Randy gives me like his answer. And it almost always is like a letdown. Like, I'll be like, oh, here's this new girl that I really like a lot. And then he'll give me his answer. But when he gives me his approval, it makes me then like that girl even more. And then I start watching her more after.
Seals
that.
The deal. You know it's real.
That's a deal sealer. All right, well, let's get into our questions. I don't want to keep taking up time.
All right. So I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat, hands down, I'm going to be the smiliest and the most uncontrollably laughing through this podcast than anyone we've ever done, because some of these are gonna be great. So it says, hello, Kendra Lust. My name is Lewis from Uptown, New York. When you're at the gym, does it be long hours at the gym or just short workouts?
It just depends on time. I was just telling PJ earlier, like, I was having a crappy day yesterday, and I was just trying to get in some cardio. I kind of overscheduled myself with stuff. So it just depends on the day, Generally, I don't want to live there. I don't want to hang out there for too long. So 45 minutes, hour and a half, it just depends. Sometimes 20 minutes like yesterday. So I get it in when I can.
Next one says, hi, Kendra. Thanks for taking our emails. My question, any chance you are coming to Florida to feature dance anytime soon? Thanks, Tim.
I love Florida. I have family down there. You guys are down there, which is very cool. Unfortunately, the only thing I have going on there is shooting in Miami. So I'll be in Miami the first week of May. So I might extend my trip a little bit longer, but I'll be down there for the first week of May. But nothing for featuring, unfortunately. So you have to have some request me down there.
The next one says, what's the secret to stay clean when you have anal with your girl? Asking for a friend. Best regards, friend.
I love it. Okay, so as far as anal, it's all in the prep. Some girls, it really depends on the person. Some girls will just use it like a douche, or excuse me, an enema, not a douche, an enema, a couple enemas till clear before they have sex. So they'll maybe prepare a couple hours before. Other people, like when I do film, I have this whole routine. Like it's just, I know what to do. And I don't do a ton of it, but there's like a shower head enema. So you do it the night before, and then, you fast overnight, obviously. And then in the morning, you just another enema, make sure you're clear and you're good to go.
Did you know about that?
Nope.
Are you going to buy one?
I kind of want to buy one now.
I knew it.
That was stuck in my brain immediately. I didn't know that you could get a shower head.
I knew it.
Yeah, and they're really inexpensive from Amazon. You can get a kit for like $50. I mean, clean as a whistle. You will feel so confident. It'll be amazing.
I can tell you right now that is going to be on PJ's doorstep in 2 days. Amazon
yeah, because I get weekly colonics. So I didn't know that you could do that.
Literally.
Yeah.
How about that?
At least once a week, he's leaving the office. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going for my colonic. And everybody's like, thanks.
Yeah, because nobody loves getting water rushed up their ass the way that I do.
The way that. That is funny. It's funny that you love it, and when I go in, I'm completely embarrassed.
At this point, I'm not even like the girl who does my colonics. Like she's kind of gotten into like my circle of friends now. So I like make silly jokes. Like she went to my doctor yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, I was just with the doctor talking about you." And I was like, "You didn't tell her what my butthole looks like, did you?" And she just like laughs, and she's like, "No, I don't tell anybody what your butt looks like." And it's just like so casual at this point.
Is it a man or a woman that does yours, Kendra?
Oh, it's a lady, and she's like older. She's like 55, and I'm like, okay, if I could just have privacy, I prefer you not to be in the room when I'm in here. And she's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, I'll call you if I need you. Like,
she's like, what do you mean? I'm always in the room when I watch you at my house.
We have full conversations during mine, just sitting there every time.
We've actually videotaped PJ's.
Yeah, I let them videotape me.
Oh, I'm poop shy. No.
Poop shy. All right, next one says, hi, Kendra. My name is Darnell Jefferson, and I have a two-part question. First of all,
I know who you are.
Oh, she knows him.
I want to say congrats on your nominations for your AVN and XBids awards. Also for bringing Entice booth at Exotica last November. It was awesome, and it didn't shock me that it was named Best Booth by X-Critic. My two questions are, do you plan on bringing back your Entice booth to the AVN and or to other Exotica locations since it was a major success at Exotica NJ last year? And the last question is, what performer would you like to work with that you haven't had the chance to work with yet? Darnell Jefferson.
Okay. Hi, Darnell. I adore you. You are one of my favorite fans, and you already know that. He goes by DJ. So as far as AVN, not this year. It was kind of a crunch time. PJ and I decided it wouldn't be doable this year. Potentially next year, but we have discussed doing other conventions, so you can definitely look for us at other conventions or Exoticas throughout the year in 2019. And then last question. Now I forgot my last question. What was his question?
What performer would you like to work with that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Okay, so I had a little taste of Jill Cassidy, and let's just say I'll need a little bit more. So Jill Cassidy is the sweetest. It's kind of like the older, younger fantasy, so I would definitely enjoy working with her again.
What do I have to do to get you to do a scene with Victoria June?
Victoria June. I mean, okay, as far as male talent, I pretty much have, okay, so here's how it goes. I work with just mostly the big companies, so I'm pretty selective with who I work with at this point. They have a list of girls that they have to shoot. So must shoot this girl, must shoot this girl. Guys are, they have a couple contract guys, but they're pretty replaceable. However, I mean, I could probably talk to them to try to schedule something. You know, her and I could also do something on our OnlyFans or our Fan Central. So, I mean, it is possible, but a lot of it is it's set up, and they know who they want based on statistics and what sells and all that. So,
I'm obsessed with her now. Obsessed. Big time. Josh, did I show her to you?
I believe you did.
Yeah.
I'll have to check her out. I mean, the name is familiar.
She's Spanish. I love everyone knows I love Spanish girls. She's just like, I think she's from a performance standpoint, I think she's amazing too. But her body is ridiculous.
She's really petite, right?
Petite, huge boobs.
Yeah,
just super dark hair that I like. Anyway.
Nice.
I've been waiting for that one. I'm like, I gotta set at least an hour aside for that one.
Oh, I love it.
Next one says, "Hello, Kendra. My name is Diego. I'm from Colombia. My question is, what is the better ailments to get the best performance in bed, and when do you come to Colombia? Very thanks, regards."
Wait, what is he asking?
I swear to God.
You just take your Entice.
Yep.
Okay,
I think he's just asking what to take before sex, right?
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like
Yes.
with the language barrier.
Yep.
So
Entice, baby.
Every day. Okay. Enticeher.com.
So, Kristen Graham, who you met at Exotica, who I almost said something stupid. Anyway, I sent her some Entice, and she's been taking it every day, she said, and she loves it. She said she couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, told you I make the good shit.
I love the testimonials, especially from people that we've met.
I know. That I love that too.
So I'm going to throw my own question in there. Have you noticed, like, on camera, like, is there any visual difference to, like, wetness or anything like that since you started taking Entice, like, previously and, like, pre and post?
You know, for me, it would be more sensitivity and blood flow.
Okay.
So I think that in turn causes that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just feel more sensitive, more intense for me. But as far as the wetness goes, I don't know that is that different, to be honest.
Because I know that like CBD originally was in it, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I know I've actually, when I lived out in California, there was a lot of research on women using different CBD lubes to really help promote that. Mm-hmm. So I know that originally I had a couple girls that had tried the CBD version that said that it worked really well like that. So maybe there's some.
I'd like to do some topicals with Entice eventually.
Oh, that would be really good idea.
Very cool.
Next one says, "Hello, Kendra. You're my favorite. Loads of love. Shout out me for my birthday, please."
What's his name?
Messy SD.
Nessie SD?
Messy SD.
Nessie SD, happy birthday, baby.
Next one says, "I want to meet Kendra Lust. You have to visit Spain."
A lot of Latin lovers for you, Kendra. Wow.
I think I don't look Latin. I look like a mutt. Like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I could be this. I could be that. I don't even know well, I do know what I am. I did my ancestry DNA. Totally wrong on my Wikipedia page, but whatever. That's the shit.
What does it say on your wiki?
It says, like, she's French, Canadian, and Italian, and she was born here and went to college here. All that shit's wrong, but, you know, it's okay.
What is your actual nationality?
I am Greek Italian.
I knew you were Italian. I fucking knew it.
It's just, like, weird, like, all over.
Greek Italian, and what was the last one?
British.
Oh, okay. Well, quite the interesting mix.
Yeah.
All right. This one is a 5-part question.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
But they seem
be ready.
They seem quick. Number 1 is, when did you begin with porn films?
Oh, we're going to do it like this. 2012 in March. So,
same year we started Blackstone.
oh
Coincidence? I think
Coincidence? I don't think so.
March 2012.
Number 2 is, when was your first time?
So personal. You're gonna have to wait for that one when my book comes out in April.
Ooh.
So that's when you
gotta wait. April's not too far away. You can wait, guys.
Is there a pre-order list for that? I don't read a lot of books, but I might read that one.
Yeah, is there a pre-order for that?
There will be, but not right now.
Cool.
Yep.
Exciting.
Okay. All right, number 3 is, can I get your extremely sexy photo?
Oh, well, I have an email, so you can email me there, Kendra@society1515.com, and we'll go from there.
Oh.
You can get a photo.
Number 4 is, do you have plans to come to Sweden?
I do not. However, I hear it's a beautiful country, so maybe in 2019 we will see.
And the last one is, why are you so beautiful?
Oh gosh, all this, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you. I don't know.
Next one is, hi PJ, I love the podcast. I was hoping you and Kendra could help me out. My wife complains about not having much of a libido anymore and has stopped all birth control to see if that helps. It did help for the first couple of days to a week and went back to how it was. I was wondering if there are some supplements and vitamins that she could take to help boost libido. She will be getting blood work done soon to see if there are any noticeable indicators for this in the results. My wife does have PCOS.
Okay. Kendra, I'll let you go first if you want.
Yeah. As far as birth control, people stopping birth control, I think it depends on the type of birth control she was on, because they say like 15% of women, I just read the statistic not too long ago, will have an increase in sex drive when being taken off the pill. I think her going and getting her blood work is definitely a start. But, I don't know with that PCOS, if they're going to want to put her on any type of hormone replacement therapy, I don't know that. She'd have to talk to her doctor about that. However, why am I not going to recommend Entice? It's all natural. As far as that goes, I would say try that. I don't know. I think it's too hard just to answer the question without enough knowing, the dynamic. Are there kids involved? Time management? Is there foreplay? So, there's a lot of different things, but I don't know. Maybe start with Entice and see what the doctor says. PJ, chime in.
So, yes, I do believe the Entice Daily will help her. So when you have PCOS and then you abruptly stop taking birth control, you can't expect something to happen overnight. PCOS is actually treated with birth control. So you basically stopped the treatment for that syndrome. So what can happen is you can see a spike in androgen levels, or you could see a plummet in androgen levels. Either of those things happening are going to have completely different effects in your body as a woman. So when the androgen levels get really, really high, at first you will be more sexually aggressive. You may even have more of a temper. You might start seeing like body growth, hair growth, things like that. On the flip side, when the androgen levels crash, then you'll have a lack of energy and the estrogen becomes imbalanced. And this is when you can start seeing, issues with your skin. So you've got to get your blood work done to see where your testosterone, progesterone, estradiol is, and they will medicate you in a way that will balance that out. Because when you stop taking birth control, even if you don't have PCOS, it's going to cause a massive shift in your hormones. So I think a very, very good treatment to start would be adding in the Entice, because that's going to help regulate your hormones. And I believe that it will absolutely help in time with the sexuality. But when it's like a guy's taking a lot of testosterone and then pulls it out, you're going to have some things happen after that. It's the same thing that, what happened with his wife. So you got to be a little patient with it.
So just because I don't know, what is PCOS?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome, okay, which often leads to cysts in your ovaries. It can lead to cancer. It's actually pretty common nowadays, and it's typically will affect your menstrual cycle, things like that. So they usually treat it with birth control.
Okay. Yeah, because it does decrease the size of the functional cyst or with ovulation and things like that.
Gotcha.
We got a nurse on here with the doctor today.
That actually, I guess I didn't know. I guess I didn't know that you were a nurse, and that just
because let me tell you something.
Think about the nurse scenes. It's that's real.
I know. And all the nurses that I know, I've never met a nurse that wasn't just super, super nice. So
she does fall right in that
That's
category.
what I'm saying. So imagine you're a fucking patient and your super, super nice nurse is Kendra Lust. I'm staying sick. I'm staying sick.
It's like the doctor comes in to tell you that you're being taken out of the hospital. You get out of the bed and just fucking break your leg.
Yeah, both of my legs are broken. Where's my nurse?
Can't go anywhere now.
I had some funny stories, but we'll save that for a later date with some of my nursing home patients. When I'd go in, this was in high school and wasn't even a nurse. They're older, but they don't forget it. It's so funny.
No, and then at that point, they probably don't care anymore. So they're probably like, fuck it, let's just do what I want to do and say what I want to say.
Yeah, the guy would try to pinch my butt. He was like, he was confused though. Little August. I'll never forget that guy.
Could you imagine being an old man and having a young Kendra Lust around?
No, I know.
You would go insane.
You would go insane.
You'd go absolutely insane. You'd be like, why doesn't it get hard? Jesus Christ. All right, next one says, hello, my question is, Kendra, have you ever dated or considered dating an ordinary person, like someone that is not in the business or a celebrity? If so, what would a person have to do in order to get a date with you?
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, that one's hard for me to answer because I am married, happily married. But, you know, and he is not just ordinary. He's pretty extraordinary. I know that sounds cheesy, but yeah, so, yeah, he's not in the industry and, you know, he's been married for a long time. But if, you know, I wasn't married, I don't know that I would be able to. Most men wouldn't be able to handle what I do. So it takes a strong man to be able to handle me. And I don't think most men are I don't know, can make the cut or could make the cut. So it is what it is.
Not even close. And I got to say, he is one of the most down-to-earth cool dudes I've ever met when we saw him out in Vegas. So
Yeah.
it takes a certain kind of person.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of confidence for sure.
Yes, for sure.
You have to.
Yeah, but you know, we have a long history, so it was built over time.
Mm-hmm.
Next one says, do you think porn has made you better at sex in your personal life, or is it a difference between fucking and making love? In other words, do you still only like what you like when it's your personal life, or are you more adventurous? Mike.
That's a really good question, Mike. You know, I think the industry has helped me to discover or experiment with more things that I might not in my personal life. I don't know, because you're exposed to so much. You know, you see so much and everybody's doing all these things. So yeah, so I have brought some of that into my bedroom, but there's also things in my bedroom that I don't bring to the film, you know, to screen. There is a difference though, you know, definitely a difference between fucking and making love. I mean, intimacy is much deeper. There's more of a connection. And I definitely enjoy that much more than I do, you know, on-screen sex. A lot of times, you know, I'm not even attracted to the person that I'm having sex with, you know, so you have to go to a place where you would not typically have to go to, you know, when you're in your bedroom. So, so it's very mental as well as physical, but there is definitely a difference.
All right, next one says, me and my fiance love the Hitachi magic wand, especially when combined with Entice. I've been considering getting the Semen. In your opinion, do you think the Semen is better than the Hitachi / worth the money?
Hell no. I mean, you have to set it up.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Sit on the thing. It takes up space. That Hitachi, that's gold, baby. I mean, it's gold, and you can just stick it away, easy peasy. But don't overuse it, because I think, you know, women become so dependent on that Hitachi that they do not. They become desensitized, and you want it to be dependent on a toy. I mean, real raw sex is the best.
That happened to my friend's wife. So because of the Hitachi overuse, she actually cannot come without it now. So like, let's say they're on the road and they're having like random sex in a hotel, she will not come. Like, she can't, even if he tries his hardest, she has to have the wand to come now.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That is not a lot of my house.
Think about it, dude. It's vibrating 1,000,000 times per second on your clit. It's going to desensitize it.
Well, I mean, I always kind of figured that, but I also kind of just figured that, like, you know, if there was a male equivalent for that, like, how much more, like, sensibility would we have in the world? You know what I'm saying? Like, if men could become dependent on a machine over a woman, like, there would probably be a lot less rash decisions.
I don't know. That's why I tell all my girls over the years, like, bitch, you better use your fingers because I don't vibrate like that.
I mean, like, but I guess in my mind, I always just thought, like, you're just being an insecure man thinking that if your girl uses that she won't be able to come to you anymore. But no, I guess it's fucking a real thing.
It is. It is. Yeah. I think some men are insecure. You know, that's their
Not in my house, Tara. Not in my house. And the second question he has is also, Can we expect an affiliate program for Entice coming anytime soon? People love it, and I can sell those bottles like Aunt Jemima sells pancakes.
Ooh.
I would love to get an affiliate program going on. I think I'll have a talk with David, and we'll see how far off we are from doing something like that. I think that you'll see that this year for sure.
It's going to be a different application process.
I'm sure it'll be very easy for Kendra to get affiliates.
It's going to be a different application process, though.
Yeah.
You have to send a dick pic. Not that we don't already get those. And a follow-up question for PJ. It's 2019. I think we can all agree that you need to start directing porn. I would happily be your co-director. #Blackstone Labs. Sincerely, Mr. OG Fit. Shout out to you.
OG Fit. I love OG Fit. He actually came to Exotica also.
That's when we knew it was real, when PJ ran into OG Fit randomly at the Exotica, and he was like, I'm in the Legion. He was like, I was like,
really? He had a Blackstone Labs shirt on. I was like, you're fucking awesome, excuse my language. And then he went and bought the Entice Her, came back the next day and bought the male because he was like, dude, he was like, she was in love with it. And she's all sweet and quiet, and she was like, it was great. And I was like, this guy is awesome. Me and him are going to be good friends. So I don't think that you'll see me directing porn soon. However, I do think there's a very good chance that if I keep growing Blackstone Labs the way that I want to, and it can start running itself, which I think we're a few years away from that, I certainly have had the passion to direct porn for many, many years. I have not had the passion to star in porn, although there are many porn stars I'd like to have sex with. I am very creative, and I have a lot of energy, and I'm very good at managing people, and I've wanted to direct porn for a long time. I specifically did not do it on my mother's wishes because she cried. But now, as I'm older, I don't think my mom cares anymore. In fact, my mom was like, I was watching all these scenes with Kendra because I wanted to see who your partner is, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Stop right now. I don't want to have any more of this conversation. And I told Kendra the story. She was like, oh, you could tell the scenes that she likes it more. And I'm like, Ma, stop. You're freaking me out right now. And so maybe because of that, I don't know that maybe that'll actually deter me from directing porn, knowing that my mom may be watching them. Ugh.
Oh, man. So I don't want to defer from Kendra too much, but when you said Blackstone Lab shirt, it reminded me of something that I saw yesterday in the call center, that they were like, oh, don't show this to PJ because he'll be so mad. And I'm so happy that I haven't told you until now, and it's on the podcast.
What is it?
So do you know like the infomercials you see on TV for Flex Seal?
Yeah, I showed that to the guys. I sent that picture in.
Oh, you sent that picture?
I sent that in.
Okay.
So one of my fans sent it to me, and he was like, check it out, national TV. And I get the picture, and I was like, who is that? And the guy goes, I don't know who it is. He goes, but I'm sitting here watching ESPN, and a commercial for Flex Seal came on, and that guy's wearing your shirt. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
It's so funny because somebody showed it to Billy and me yesterday, and me and Billy just looked at it, and he was like, don't show that to me.
Well, it's a goddamn Superset shirt, and I don't like those
it's going to be so bad it doesn't say Blackstone.
At least I know that it's Blackstone, and the diehard Blackstone people will. Everybody else will just think it's Supersets.
I mean, I'm really happy that
Yeah, somebody sent that to me. It was pretty cool.
Next question says, good day, Kendra Lust. Is semen a big part of your dietary plan for your lifestyle? This may sound funny, but a friend of mine, female, who is also into fitness, says that a big part of her diet plan is to ingest her husband's semen every time they had sex after a workout. She also said that it lightens her mood, stays more active, and most importantly, her sex drive increased. That's all. Thank you.
Wow. I've never heard of this. However, I'm not opposed. I just don't, it's not a part of my daily diet. You know, I mean, when I'm working, you know, all week, of course it is. However, when I'm home, I'm not, but I'm really happy for you and your wife. I think that's awesome. And maybe I'll give it a try.
That is a fallacy, by the way. You cannot have any effect on your hormones from ingesting semen orally. It gets destroyed by the stomach acids in your body.
But maybe it's the whole placebo effect.
It's definitely a placebo effect. Either that or she's just messing around, which either way is...
Studies show that semen is actually only like productive to be used as a topical on your face.
Oh, man.
Next one says, hi, PJ. First of all, thank you for having Kendra on. She's fantastic. I have a couple of questions for Kendra. Number one, I would assume you have more of a male following, but it seems like more women are getting into watching porn. Are you noticing more women following you on social media and wanting to meet you at different events that you attend, or is it still male dominant?
Oh gosh, still very male dominant. I think my analytics are like 94% male, 6% female. However, I do get a lot of women, direct messaging me or, reaching out in a flirtatious way. So I think women are becoming more comfortable with the idea of watching, adult and becoming more comfortable with their sexuality. I mean, it's everywhere. Women are over-sexualized, but we're supposed, I won't even talk about it, supposed to, not want, anyway, that's a whole nother issue. But yes, the answer is yes. So I'm seeing definitely an increase, but definitely more male for sure.
Okay. When you do scenes with women, and in your personal life, if it applies, do you have a specific type of woman that you're usually attracted to, or does it vary? Thank you. Brooke from Austin, Texas.
Okay. I would have to say...
small boobs.
I usually don't admit
So that sucks so bad. Ugh.
However, it just depends, on my mood. I don't know. I kind of like the older girl, younger girl fantasy. It just depends. But then I like my MILFs. So it just depends. It just depends on my mood. So.
No discrimination, I guess, right?
Yeah, not at all.
I like that.
So I know we spoke and said that we were going to leave it to first names for the questions, but this is the special one.
Oh.
So should we announce the name before or after the question?
Let's announce it before so she knows what she's getting into.
So this question was sent in by somebody at the office here. His name is Stefan Friedley.
So Stefan is basically the assistant to social media, and he's behind the scenes, very much behind the scenes, although he did get featured in some of the videos this year as the geek. And we had Coach K training him, and he wound up bailing for some reason. I don't know why, but Stefan is
he's referring to Project Geek for everybody that didn't
Project Geek, yes. So Stefan he's quiet, and we're trying to get him laid, basically, is where he's at in life right now. It hasn't worked too well so far, but we still have a lot of faith. So
a lot of faith.
For him to take the time to submit this question was quite entertaining to us. So if you want to give special care into the answers to young Stefan's questions. I didn't actually read the questions. Let's see.
Oh, they're fucking amazing.
Okay.
The first one says, what did it feel like when you first experienced a DP?
Wow, well, that's okay. I'm not embarrassed at all.
That's new stuff. That's recent.
In all honesty, I don't remember much because I was really nervous and I had way too much to drink. Not gonna lie.
No, if you've been watching you as long or as often as I have, I could tell that you were hammered in that one.
So nervous. So I don't really know, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to redo that this year, which is totally great with me. Now that I'm more comfortable, because when I did it was too soon. I kind of felt like, I hadn't done that much anal, so I wasn't experienced enough. So I was just so nervous. But now that I'm definitely more experienced, I'm ready and I'll be fine. So it'll be good. So I'll let you know on that one.
I still liked it a lot.
Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, but I think that you still performed really well. Like I could tell that you were drunk and nervous because I know you. I don't think the average person, unless they watch you as often as I do, which maybe there's I always wonder like how many guys are as grossly pervy as me. So maybe a lot of people did notice it. I don't know that I would notice it if I didn't know you though.
They noticed it.
Yeah, I mean I was like, oh, she's hammered. That was the first thing I thought.
Next question he had is, what kind of fun stuff happens offset during shooting?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it depends on your set. Now, some sets are real serious, and it's like
corporate style?
I'm like what?
Like a corporate type setting?
Yeah, like some are just like, it's hard to have fun because it's like the director's so, be reading your script and, they're trying to save $100. So everything's uptight all day because of those shoot locations. It's like just, let's have a good atmosphere because I think it makes it better for everybody. But for the most part, I mean, everyone thinks like, you name it. I mean, everything is a sex joke. It's a good time. I always have a good time. I try to have fun. I like music. I like to dance around. I goof off, but when it's time to get serious, we do what we have to do with the job. But I don't know. I guess it would be just probably like your guys' day at work,
I'm sure it's just like our day at work. Minus all the dicks. Oh, actually, no, this is nothing but dicks in here. I guess I'm wrong on that one.
It's all dicks.
It's all dicks here.
So I love to play jokes on people, take Nerf guns on set. Like, I'm a little bit obnoxious, but I just like to have a good time. So yeah.
Have you ever continued performing even after the camera's turned off?
I think we all have. We get kind of caught up in the moment, and absolutely, yes, that's just, it happens.
That's hot.
That is hot.
That's really hot.
Yeah, you know.
Assuming your job makes you travel often, have you ever sat down next to a random fan on an airplane and they wouldn't stop talking about you?
I have not directly sat next to someone, but I have had people on the plane, and then they'll tweet, so, or Kendra's on the plane or whatever, can't believe, just stuff like that, like cheesy stuff, or they'll, get me at the airport, or I was walking through LAX and one guy's like, oh, hey, big fan, can I get a picture? And I was clearly not, I had traveled 4.5 hours. I was not ready, but I was like, sure, no problem. I was like, I'm not going to deny someone a picture, even if I look like crap, because I might never get the chance to meet them again. So suck it up.
That's awesome that you do that, because I don't need to say her name, but a certain somebody that was in my life for a while, if she didn't like the way that she looked, would deny fans all the time, and it used to really embarrass me. And I would be like, these people are just like really want just to take a picture with you. You can't just take a picture. And she'd be like, no, I'm not being photographed, not looking the way that I like. So I think it's really cool that you suck it up and do it, even when you're not ready.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I say if they like the first 2 years of anything I did, they'll like that picture, because I didn't want to go there. But hey, that's okay.
You're very hard on yourself. Jeez.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm not self-deprecating. I am being brutally honest. I'm a realist.
But what's real in your mind is, I think, quite different than the average person's perception.
Yeah, like you said earlier when you said, like, people say that you're a sex icon and you just see you as yourself. Like, I can 100%, I understand what you mean by that, because you never see yourself the way that the world sees you. Like, even just like when I look at my car, I'm like, oh, it's not that cool. And then I see my exact same car driving down the road, and I'm like, oh, that thing looks pretty cool. Just because it's not mine, it looks better somehow. And so the same thing happens to everybody, especially when you're thinking about yourself. Like, hands down, you are like
your hardest critic on yourself.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The probably like most compared to women, like in porn. Like, I can almost guarantee you more men watch you and then go and tell their wife or their girlfriend, like, hey, do it like this.
Yes.
Because that's just, you are like a sex icon for sure.
No.
Did the audio just cut out?
No, I think for like a half of a second it did, but I
yeah.
don't think she was saying anything.
All right.
Oh,
Next one says, what are some of your biggest turn-ons / what is one thing you can't resist?
Oh boy, I don't know if I can talk about that. Okay, biggest turn-ons. So biggest turn-ons are, I like confident men that have a sense of kind of like a little bit of swag about them. They just carry themselves in a nice way. They're confident but not cocky. And I also like a guy that can make me laugh. So for me, those are big turn-ons. You don't have to be the best looking. You don't have to have all the money in the world. I mean, I don't really care if you're a good human being. I don't know. I guess I'm pretty. I don't know. I'm a simple chick, I guess. But anyway, so those are kind of some of my turn-ons, and I don't know if they meant sexual turn-ons or overall turn-ons, but foreplay is the best turn-on for sure. Like, if you don't take your time, and not every time do you have to take your time. It's like, gosh, I have to go down. No, it's not every time, but I appreciate my body, because I'm proud of what I'm working with, and I like to like take me all in. So yeah.
When you say that, like, you like a man that's confident but not cocky, I think that if you are a man and you are in Kendra's presence and you act cocky, you are probably the biggest douche ever. Because when I met her at the expo, and I brought her from the front to our booth, she like put her arm around me as I pulled her through the crowd, and I was like, I felt like a giddy little schoolgirl. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy right now. So if you could be around Kendra and be cocky, like, you're a douche.
But most guys aren't. I mean, they're not, but sometimes, the one guy, just a random guy. I don't even know that he knew who I was, but he's like, hey, just like, let's go. Like, I want to take you out, blah, blah. I mean, he's like yelling from across the park. I can follow you this. And I'm just like, fucking idiot. Like I'm like, you're weird. Anyway.
Yeah, that's
Parking lot guy.
that's pathetic though.
No, it's bad. Whatever.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, this next one is definitely the longest one we've had so far.
Okay. This is Haradav, right?
This is Haradav. So he says, hello, this is AKA Haradav, AKA the one and only girl man. You guys might think a UFO like Josh's kidnapped YouTube biggest celery, but life has been busy with work and sadly 2 loved ones dying from their death. It was very selfish of them to pass away without thinking of how it would affect the girl man. Joke, they are very missed. We
So
have
his parents died?
It says sadly 2 loved ones dying from their death.
Okay.
We have questions from both the girl and the man behind this persona. Thank you, Kendra, for taking the time to respond. The first question is to ask you about your opinion on the criticism porn in general has about it destroying marriages, attacking family values, causing depression, etc., etc., etc. Porn and some types of music and games get blamed the most for all of these things. What do you think? Do you understand the criticism? I think most obese people eat hamburgers, but so do most fit, healthy people.
That's a really complicated question. I think what he's asking is, what do I think as far as the criticism along? Is that the base of the question?
Yes.
Yes. What is your opinion on the overall negative view criticism of porn industry and what it causes?
Okay. I disagree. I don't. It's a $1 billion industry, so people are watching. Okay. I
am.
think, a lot of people who say that they aren't are jerking with one hand and pointing with the other, to be quite honest. So everybody's watched it. If they have access to the internet, they've watched it. Okay. I don't think it ruins marriages. I think it's a healthy outlet. Personally, it's a lot cheaper than getting a prostitute, getting a disease, okay, cheating on your wife, having an affair.
It's quicker too.
Yeah, there you go. I don't, it only ruins marriages when a man or a woman allow it to. So if they're become completely obsessed with it and they're ignoring their wife to watch a porn, then that's on them. I think it's used to enhance and to help marriages. It's used to relieve stress. And they like to point, same with the games, like, oh, kids, they become criminals watching, or playing video games. I don't believe that. I mean, I think it's, you need to educate people on sexuality and, porn is not real life sex. It is a sexual act. It's acting, so it's used to help and enhance. I don't think it's meant to hurt or it ruins marriages. I think only if you allow it to. I don't know. If I'm not even answering it completely the way I want to, but yeah, no. And as far as what the critics say, I don't care what they say. Do what you want. Like, I enjoy what I do.
I think porn is far more received now than it was 10, 15 years ago. Far more received. Yeah. Everywhere I go, people talk to me about porn all the time. It's like, seems to me like a pretty big part of most people that I know's lives.
Are you getting really hot in here?
Yes.
I'm getting really hot in here.
How many more questions? Because she's got to go.
There's a good.
My questions we're gonna do without her.
There's a second half from Haradav.
I can. I feel bad canceling. Maybe I can just tell him. I'll pay him.
At least 1, 2, 3, 4 more.
4 more questions.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So the second half of Haradav's question is, how do you recommend teaching one's children about sex, religions, and politics? I guess one wants them to think for themselves, but also don't want someone else to think for them and scar them.
Okay. I think that is all based on your culture, where you live, and oh, here comes my little munchkin. Come on. Sorry, my dog. Come here, baby. All right, she's gonna join the podcast for a second.
We want to say hello.
Come here, baby. So, I think that all depends on, how you want to raise your kids and what you want to teach them. Okay, say hi, baby. Say hi, baby.
Oh, hello.
Baby. She's a little fatso. She's a little fatso. Okay. So, all right, now you gotta go. So as far as, I can't tell somebody how to teach their kids about sex. I mean, that's all what they're comfortable. Am I answering the question right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can you kind of reread the last part?
It says, how do you recommend teaching one's children about sex, religions, and politics? But I mean, I don't really know.
You can't really do that because, I know that they're all tied in together. Absolutely. But, I have a different religion than somebody else, and I'm not going to, you can't. I think that question is too vague. It's just, I can't.
It's very individual specific.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. I mean, what's right for me might not be right for the next person.
Absolutely.
But I think at the end of the day, you have to do what you feel is right for you and, what you're comfortable with and do not worry. I mean, I always tell people, you live in prison when you worry about what everyone else thinks, because ultimately you have to live with yourself. You have to be happy. And at the end of the day, or when you're dead and gone, who's really going to give a shit? So live your truth. Okay. Live for you. Yep. That noodle shirt. Yep. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Good answer.
The third question is, do you mind being admired by so many for your sexiness rather than for your kindness or intelligence, etc., but also being hated by a few who don't even know you?
That is I love that question. That's really good. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be admired, and it's nice. It feels good. However, at times I just wish I didn't have to feel the need to kind of put makeup on to go outside and go to the gym, or, because you're like, oh, I might run into somebody, so that type of thing. So that part, it kind of is a pain, but it's nice to be admired. Definitely. It doesn't bother me that people don't know the other part of me. Like, and I do consider myself a kind human being, a good person. And I try to, be good to others because, that's not when I'm in an adult industry. So they're seeing me for what I'm supposed to be, and for the few that know me or that want to know me on a deeper level, then they will. But I know who I am, and what I do doesn't define who I am. And I'm good with me. So that, to me, that's all that really matters. Yeah.
I think that I don't want to take too much time because she's got more questions to answer. I think that women in general, there's a lot more pressure on women in society to look a certain way than men. And then you take somebody like you who is, your job is looking really good. So I think that you psychologically have to think like, just like she said, like, what if somebody knows who I am and then they go and they tell everybody like, oh, I saw Kendra Lust and she doesn't look good in real life. Because I will tell you, the reason I'm saying this is that was when I was at Exotica, I walked around a couple of times and I had told Randy, like, man, most of these girls do not look good in real life. Like, I'm kind of like thrown off at it. But, and I'm not saying this to kiss her ass, I'm like, Kendra looks equally as beautiful in real life as she does on set. So you have to wonder, like, if these girls are used to like really putting on a lot of makeup and really going through all this stuff to look a certain way, and then you go out in public with no makeup on, where an average person maybe could get away with that here and there. For you to do it, it would be so dramatically different that people would be mean to you just for that. Like normally you see somebody with no makeup on, you're like, that girl's got no makeup on. But if you saw a superstar, adult star with no makeup on and she looked bad, you're going to go on the internet and say, I saw this person today. And I'm not a hater like that, but that's what people do,
Yeah. Yeah. And then as far as the hate part, because I didn't address that. If people hate me, that's their problem. I don't really care what other people think. Again, that's part of me just living my life, and I'm sorry that it offends. Actually, I'm not sorry that it offends you. That's your problem. It's not mine. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not throwing it in your face. You actually have to enter an adult website to be able to see what I do. So if you're not on there, then why does it bother you what I do? It shouldn't.
Yeah, mind your own business.
Yes.
And if you're already mad about what she does, you'd be really mad if you saw the checks she gets. Last question is, if you see porn changing with technology, and if so, how? Like sex robots or augmented reality porn or something? Sorry about not asking about sex positions. I have never asked PJ anything about muscles, so I hope you don't mind. Thank you for your time and perspective. You have very pretty eyes.
That's great. Annie's being honest.
Yeah. As far as, porn and technology, definitely it's evolving. There's the virtual reality, which people seem to really like, and sex robots. I think they have them over in Japan.
Yeah, they do.
Virtual, so
they're expensive.
They're really, yeah.
They can even cook dinner and shit.
What are you doing? Okay, you're cleaning yourself, making sure she's not chewing something. So I, unfortunately, I don't know that I necessarily like that whole robot or like that wife type thing, because I think it takes away the human connection, but there are some people, let's face it, they're not good looking guys or good looking, and they may not have the opportunity to be with somebody or have that. So, if it fulfills their needs, then more power to them, Who am I to judge like what works for somebody?
That's a good answer, right?
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about like fleshlights. The only time I ever thought about potentially seeing what one was like was when you announced yours. But it doesn't, to me, make a lot of sense for somebody like me, or for instance, like somebody like my girlfriend's ex-husband. Mm-hmm. She found that he had one and was like, the fuck do you have this for? Like, you can't just jack off? Like, I don't understand why.
I guess if you're fantasizing that hard about Kendra, right? And you in your head, you're like, this is her vagina. Like you've got.
No, so that's what I'm saying.
Thinking that hard about it. Because I'm the same way with the fleshlights. I'm always just going to use my hand. I'll try anything one time. Like the virtual reality porn and whatnot.
That's the only gimmick that would get me is the fact that, they say it's like her. Yeah. So, and then they would actually, if they got me that first time, they would probably get me at least one other time because I would want to buy somebody else's to compare. To
see the difference. Yes, I've thought about that too.
And then after that, if it wasn't totally different, I'd be like, this is a fucking sham.
Yes.
But if it was different, I'd be like, I'm going to get a collection.
Yeah, I've thought the same thing. It's so funny.
Yep. Next one says, hi, Kendra. How are you? I'm Fernanda Perez de Sousa, and I'm your fan. I would like to know how it was your decision to go into the industry and whether it was too difficult. Does your family know? Is it accepted? And I hope one day you will come to Brazil. I love you. Kisses. I'm at the Nandy Diaries on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Okay, so the decision to start was really driven by some family tragedy type situation with my sister, and just financial reasons, helping her out and what have you. And I won't go into too much detail. Again, you'll have to read about that in the book. So it was something I always thought was really cool. I enjoyed watching it. But I never really thought I would ever do it. I webcammed for a few months and then decided to kind of take the plunge. And that was a nice choice of words. But and then I started, and I've been, doing it ever since. And my family does know. I told them. I just didn't feel right lying. After about 6 months, I just couldn't keep it any longer. I'm like, this is like this feeling of just keeping this in. And my family, my mom was fine with it. I did tell my dad, but I didn't really talk about it. I was a grown woman when I decided to do it. So it's a little different, and I had an education. I was married. Well, I was married. And so as long as he was okay with it. But my family was accepting. Some of my family, talked shit, and that's fine. But I still killed them with kindness, and eventually they've come to apologize. And whatever. forgiven them. And
She's like, they came to apologize, and now I helped them with their Lexus payments.
Not quite, not the ones that were me. I accept their apology and whatever, but and then moved on. You can't let it eat you up. So, but yeah.
More reason for people to read your book too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to want to know all about that.
So this next one says, question for Kendra, but also everyone. I'm sure you meet a lot of wonderful people and have some great friends, but what do you look for in relationships? What is the best date you've... It just cuts off there. What's the best date you've ever, Evie?
Had, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as relationship goes, it's like I said, it's hard because I'm married, but now I forgot the first part of the damn question.
What do you look for in relationships?
Yeah, no, I mean the most important thing I think is you have to. I mean, obviously there has to be initial attraction and all of that, but most importantly, trust and communication. Those are huge. If you don't have that, then everything falls apart. So yeah, that's most important.
And I think the last question for you, one of the last questions is, who is your favorite female for fitness motivation?
There's so many, and they're. I don't know that I can just name one. I don't even know if I have anyone that I look up to. Like a lot of the people that I look up to are people I'll see in the gym, literally kicking ass, and they might not have the best bodies, but they're in there grinding, every boot camp and kicking butt. So for me, it's people that I can actually connect with and that I see all the time, and getting tips from them, some of the trainers at the gym. So those are the people that inspire me, the people that I can talk to. But Kristen Graham, that's inspirational.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah, so it's some of the athletes. So Chris Michelle, that one girl, she was
very sweet.
Yeah, so there's so many of them. So I can't just name one, but.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold that thought. Who did you say first? What was that first name you said?
Well, she said Kristen Graham.
Kristen Graham. That's funny. That's who asked the question.
Kristen Graham asked the question? Wow, Kristen. KG throwing in some questions for Kendra Lust.
Boom.
How about that?
How awesome.
We got to get Kristen Graham on a podcast.
She didn't even know that she's the one that asked. And she's like, oh, this girl. And it's the girl that asked the question.
We were watching videos of her lifting ridiculous amounts of weights yesterday.
Yeah, she's tough. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's smart. She's awesome.
Listeners, if you want me to get Kristen Graham on the show, let me know. DM me about it, or tell her that you want her to come on AskPJBraun, or maybe we'll make that happen. She is a big fan of Kendra. In fact, they came to Exotica. They told me they actually go to Exotica every year, and they asked me way in advance, "Are you going to be bringing Entice to Exotica because we want to meet Kendra?" And I was like, I liked her anyway. I thought she was cool. Anyway, but when she said that, I was like, oh, you like Kendra Lust? And she goes, she's my favorite. And I kind of had a little bit of a crush on Kristen Graham anyway, but I was like, you're fucking very cool in my book if you love Kendra Lust, because guess what? So do I. I'm like, I'll absolutely introduce you guys. And then when they met, they were all like, they acted like they knew each other. And Kristen's husband was like, I owe you a steak dinner for this, man. Thank you so much.
So I actually have a little bit more time, so we're good. I just told him, I'm just going to reschedule.
Are you sure? Because I think that was your last question.
That was the last question.
I was like, he's going to kill me.
No, okay. If you'd like to stay and banter with us for a little bit, we would love to.
Yeah, I mean, that was your last question. I'm sorry that it took a little longer than we wanted to.
I mean, I'll just check to see if he has anything. If he has a 1 o'clock, then it's okay. But it's okay. It's all good. I'm happy to be on and to thank you for having me. And hopefully I answered the questions.
Your answers were awesome. What do you want to plug? Obviously, you have a book coming out before you go.
Really?
I'm excited about that. Stop plug, not a butt plug. You need to
a plug, I said.
That's where his mind was going. I could see it.
Dirty.
Put your head down.
Well, I don't think he caught it earlier when you were talking about telling your family about porn, and you said take the plunge.
Right. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
That was fucking hilarious.
I was like, oh, great. You know, I set myself up every time. Anyway.
I gotta say, it is an absolute mind-blowing honor to be sitting here having a podcast with Kendra Lust.
I told you she's the best.
You guys are funny.
I knew she was gonna be good.
I just, you never know what avenues life is gonna take you down in your journey, and boy, I had no idea this was gonna be a road I'd be down.
I want to see if this one is as popular or more popular than the Flex Wheeler podcast. That was the most popular one we've done. We've been getting, I feel like we have a lot of extra listeners now because of Flex Wheeler. So we'll see if those people wind up listening to the Kendra Lust podcast.
And if they have anything like a sense of humor like he does, then they're going to love this.
Yes, I agree. Flex Wheeler got a little raunchy on here with us, though.
We should do a dual guest with her and Flex.
Yes.
Oh, epic.
Yeah. He. I guess the easiest way to put it would be he says whatever the fuck he wants.
He has very little filter.
Good for him, though. I mean, it. You know, in the right setting, I think it's great to be that way. You know.
It's great for podcasts.
He's a very, very, very funny guy. I had a good time with him.
I have to say, if that's our number one podcast, I'd say that this is either, neck and neck tied for first or like very close.
Yeah, I knew that this would be a very easy and fun podcast, and I knew the time would go by fast too because it's 12:30 now. So
fun, but also like not nerve wracking. But like I've never sweat so much during a podcast.
How do you feel? Do you feel like you did a good job?
I feel good.
Do you think you did a good job, Kendra?
I think he did absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Well, now what I will have to do is bring her back and have Chris Herron take your place and see if once again people say, can you please bring Josh back onto the
Whoa. We're going into uncharted territory here now. First they don't give me a camera this week, and now we're going to bring Chris Herron back? What the fuck is this?
So
what happened?
For those of you who don't remember the very initial episodes, there were...
Chris Herron's actually on my shirt.
How many episodes were there with Chris Herron? 2?
No, there's a couple.
Eric will know. How many episodes did I do with Chris? 3? It was like 3 or 4, and then he couldn't do one. So we brought Josh in, and Josh was so nervous, right? He was like, I've never done anything like this before. And I was like, you'll be fine. You're smart. You're an eloquent speaker. You got nothing to worry about. And he wound up doing really, really good. And then the listeners wrote in, and they were like, can you please not bring back Chris Herron? And I was like, oh, man. I was like, that's so mean. But it was enough people said it that I was like, well, I gotta give the people what they want. And bring Josh on. Now he's a regular, show host now. He's a regular radio personality.
It's something I take a lot of pride in.
He does. He's good. He's very good. Everyone always says how good Josh is.
This is one of my favorite things to do here.
Nice. Wow.
Did your trainer get back to you?
Yeah, he's not. He's probably pissed, but that's okay.
But listen,
he's not like, he doesn't get mad. He'll be like, okay, he'll just give me crap about it,
I would be pissed as fuck too if I had an appointment with Kendra Lust and she can't.
And I know he's probably more mad that he doesn't get to see you.
If
I was still training, because you guys know I used to be a trainer. If I was still training and I had Kendra Lust for a client, I would let my clients know, sorry guys, your money is equally good as hers, but if she needs a session, I'm gonna have to cancel yours no matter what, when, why, how. That's just the way it's gonna be.
Your money's just as green, but your tits are nowhere near as good.
Like that. And that's why I love it. Like, I am no different in that gym, and I love that. Like, I don't expect preferential treatment. I am just...
No, you deserve it. You deserve it.
Definitely
You've given me far more orgasms than anybody else I know. You absolutely deserve to cut in line in the gym.
But he's like my black brother. Like, he's the whitest black person.
We know a guy like that.
We know a guy just like that. Shout out to him if he still listens to this.
We miss you, Trev.
We miss you.
He's awesome. I have to plug him in, though. And it's because he's awesome, not that way. It's Torian Lake, so it's TBL2626 on Instagram.
There you guys. If you guys want to know who trains Kendra, there he is.
And he's very sweet. He's just a good human being, consistent, like solid guy.
What kind of gym do you train at?
It's a private gym, which is really cool. So in order to train there, you have to be paired up with a trainer of some sort. So you can't just randomly...
Like Trainer Space, yeah.
Oh, the dog is about to get it. Get off my dress. She's went to go pull my little thing. Like, bad girl. That didn't sound very mean. But she's so sweet. That is not a toy.
It's like, quit talking to that box thing. Give me some attention.
What kind of questions do I have? Do I have anything that Kendra can answer?
Let's see.
She's smart. She can answer some of these, I bet.
Oh no, I'm out with the science.
Come on, you took some of the same classes that I did.
Yeah, well, anatomy and physiology is long time ago.
I know. If I didn't get asked these same goddamn questions every week, I would be forgetting most of this stuff too. You guys, I wish that you would ask me more questions about sex and life and relationships instead of like testosterone cycles all the time. But don't worry, I will always answer all your questions. That's what I'm here for.
We're going to keep answering your test questions. We're just going to throw in our own.
Yes, that's why I like bringing like somebody like Kendra on, because we can talk about stuff that I really want to talk about.
Like boobs and butts and boobs.
Yeah.
Right?
And boobs.
And boobs.
Let me tell you something. I fucking love big boobs. So I was like,
dude, it's so great.
Bummed out when Kendra was like, I typically go for small boobs. Don't get me wrong. I like, if it's a nice, perky, pretty shaped small boob, I like that too. But for me, I feel like boobs are like biceps. You know, like the bigger you can pump them up, the better.
But then once you get to a certain point and you're like, all right, your biceps are bigger than your shoulders, you look kind of retarded.
Yeah, but you know what? It's still fun. Like when you see
it's
like
still
Greg.
Fun
remember Greg Valentino, the man whose arms exploded?
Yes.
Like I wouldn't want to look like that. And as a woman, I don't think that I'd want to bring that home to my parents, but I think it'd be cool to check it out. And that's how I feel about some of these like ridiculously enormous boobed girls. Like,
oh, like the one, I'm sure you've seen it, of the fucking big black girl that takes her tits and completely like swallows a man's head.
There's a few girls that can do that. Maserati can do that. She's got enormous natural boobies.
Maserati.
Huge natural boobs. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy the boob sandwiching.
I'm not gonna say I wouldn't try.
I think it's a little bit. I think Kendra will probably agree with this. I think it's a little bit crazier when you have fake ginormous boobs, because when they're natural, that's what physiologically you had. That's what you grew. You know, when you go and you put something that enormous into your chest, which usually takes many surgeries to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking like a minimum of 3 surgeries to get some of these, like, you know, 1,500, 2,000 cc boob jobs that girls have. We have a few friends. We have a couple girls in the company. Actually, you've met one of them. Bella, I think Bella's are 1,200. L Money's are 1,400.
So so obviously meeting both of them and definitely seeing both of them in person, I think both of their tits look great on them.
Yes.
Right. But now Bella, like if she were to go too much bigger than that, like she's so small that she would be crossing over into that territory where it's like, I don't know how you can like normally live your life, like, you know, with such a small like shoulder base, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like same thing with the dude's biceps. Like, bro, if your biceps weigh more than your shoulders, you're gonna have a hard time picking up cans of soda and shit eventually.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what it is. Like, I'd have to talk to a therapist for a while to figure out why like big boobs just drive me so crazy, because I love big asses too. I love curves, but like if I had to choose, right, and it was a very flat-chested girl with a great ass or a flat-assed girl with the huge boobs, I tell you right now, I've already had a lot of those flat asses, and I had a lot of fun with the boobs.
No way.
It's just,
I can't even believe
I you know what it is? I'm very like visual, and I just love what boobs look like. I just think they're beautiful.
I agree 100%. I can't agree.
So like an ass is fun to like grab and you know, when you're doggy or when she's riding you and you get all up in there and squeeze it and it feels good. It's fun getting physical with the ass. But if I was just looking at something, like I can't get off to like looking at a bunch of like nice ass pictures. But if I'm looking at like every now and then I'll watch like a boob montage, like a boob compilation of like just really big, awesome titties, and like that shit'll get me off like crazy. I just love boobs.
See, I think
yeah, we're wired differently.
But this generation all loves asses.
What about you, Kendra? What do you if you, all right?
Yeah, asses.
You like asses?
You know, both, but the ass is connected to the pussy.
That's my opinion.
That is a very, very good point.
Like, so I see, and then I'm like, okay, yeah.
Unless they've got like the perfect tits for it, it's very hard to efficiently fuck a woman's tits.
Yeah, I don't really. It's not. I every now and then I'll do that, but it's not.
You do it just because you want to. Not
yeah, you just want to in your mind. You want to be like, I fucked her tits.
You're like, oh, I was fucking her titties.
I told a story that I'm not going to tell about this chick that I hooked up with that had 1,500 cc boobs, and I had to fuck her tits, and I literally could not see my penis anymore when it was inside her boobs. That's how big they were.
That you know somebody like that.
Yes.
good times. But that's what I'm saying is like, if when you're having sex with a girl, that like you grab the hips and like all that shit,
physical part of it is awesome.
I need that, like, because I like obviously I could go with the flat chested girl as long as she has a nice ass. Like I can do that all day, but I could not do the girl with the big boobs.
Do you have to keep her bent over though?
No.
Are you okay with a girl who is super duper lean and does not have breast implants and has like
sag,
like pecs? I don't like that.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like that
at all.
Have you noticed, Kendra? We talked about this in the office the other day, and I think that it's a combination of just I think a lot more people are into fitness than they were 20 years ago. But when I was in high school, so me and you were basically the same age. So when I was in high school, every now and then you'd see like a white girl with like a big butt, and it would be like the biggest deal in the world. Now I go to the grocery store, and every girl has a big butt.
Yep.
It's every girl has a big butt.
It's true.
And if you don't, it's like,
I mean, I guess, I don't want to judge because it's like, if I didn't have, I had boobs. That's the thing. My whole life I had boobs. I was a 34 natural D, like in high school.
Damn.
So I was known for big boobs. Okay. And
Lovely.
in high school, when I would play basketball, I mean, I had to like, they were huge back then. So they were just, and I had more than baby fat. So just that's how I was made. I always had a butt. Like, so, but then, life happened and things changed. So I decided to get them, more full and whatever. And, so I enhanced mine. So if I didn't have a butt, I might do that too. So it's like, I don't want to judge. I don't know what it is, why it's so different though. Maybe because it's newer. Like I accept the big fake boobs better than I accept the big fake butts. Maybe just because they do the boobs best.
Some of the fake butts are pretty good, but some of them are just really, really ridiculous.
No, I just don't support fake butts. I just don't do it.
So there's a girl that I like. Do you ever watch Amia Miley?
Yes.
I like her fake butt.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's some girls, I guess it looks better on than others, but to me, if you could grow your tits naturally, and they would look just as good as fake tits, but you just had to go to the gym, I would be like angry at my girl for getting implants.
But genetically, many women they can train their asses all they want, and it's not going to grow.
True.
It won't. They lie. These girls. The one girl, I'm thinking, damn, her ass. I'm like, you're right. Your butt looks good. She's like, oh, I've been squat. I'm like, bitch, don't lie. Like, I know you're lying. Like, just stop. I'm not an idiot. I mean, if you don't want, just say thank you. Just say thank you.
No, exactly. I trained a bunch of girls who trained their asses really, really hard, really, really smart, and they just never could grow an ass. Like they'd grow their quads, everything else, but the ass just didn't want to grow. Like genetically, that part of their body, it's like we all have body parts that don't respond the same way,
or just that hold fat better than others. And
yes,
that helps.
That's the big thing. Is many girls they hold fat in a very, I guess, pleasing way in their butts nowadays, where it's not so much about what they're doing in the gym; it's just a physiological thing. I also. I don't want to like start boring people on the science. That is what I'm here for. But I also believe that what they're doing to the food in the United States is playing a major role in why people look the way they look nowadays. Because unless you're eating purely organic, which many people do not, all of the food is pumped up with hormones now. And this is why you see girls getting their periods in like 4th grade, growing boobs really young. It's the hormones that are being ingested are starting to sway the hormones in the human body. And I do believe, I don't want to like freak everybody out, that eventually they'll see a correlation to different forms of cancer and whatnot because of the hormones that they put in food.
Or superhuman ability.
Or potential superhuman ability, yes. That would be the other mutation that you could get.
Like the myostatin.
Nobody ever gets the X-Men, genetic mutations. They always get the bad stuff.
You don't know that. You just don't hear about the people that
are
X-Men
you're right,
because they're hiding right now because the government would come and take them.
That is true. Kendra, do you, in your spare time, like, when you go places, do you worry about, like being spotted by fans and not being able to enjoy like a regular movie or something like that?
Gosh, and now I'm sounding paranoid. You just so happen to answer or ask this question. Yesterday, I was at the drugstore. There's a little local CVS, and I saw this guy, and then I saw him again, and I saw him again. I'm like, okay, not cool. So I check out. I go out, get into my car. He's sitting in his car, didn't buy anything, sitting in his car, smoking a cigarette, and he's watching me. So I pull out, and then I get to the end of the driveway, then he pulls. I'm like, this is just awkward, weird. So maybe sometimes I'm paranoid. I don't know if guys recognize me or they just think I'm, a chick in workout pants, or whatever. Like, they're going to look at me that way. I don't know. So, so I get recognized, and then, you know, other times I don't. So it just depends, you know. But sometimes I worry, though. I worry about people knowing where I live, but I can't live in a bubble. Like, you know, I have my gun or whatever, license to carry. I have an alarm in my house. I have a dog. I have lots of cameras. So
damn, that's so hot.
I actually did not know that.
You just increased hot points.
Yeah,
by
I didn't. That's actually
somehow.
one thing that I did not know, and I thought I knew everything about
God.
Miss Kendra Lust. I didn't know that you. Do you actually carry?
I go to get my gun this week. I'm going to get, it's 15 ounces, so it's very light, and I can conceal it. It has a little laser for accuracy, just in case.
What kind of gun is it?
What gun did you buy?
I have a picture of it. He picked it out for me.
Can you text it to us?
Smith and Wesson. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you're getting both of us horny right now. God damn it.
So anyway, but it's really small for me. But you know, I want to be able to carry. I want to be confident, and you know, nobody bothers me or when I'm out, or you know, I can.
I think that most women, you don't have to be a superstar. I think most women should carry protection.
I think every woman.
The world these days.
Every woman.
You know, it's really not a bad idea to.
Sure. Yeah. No, and I'm not just saying. You know, I regardless, like you said, if I did this or not, I would carry because you know
You have car insurance, right?
So,
Yeah. Yeah, they make subcompact tiny little things nowadays that you could put right in your purse. Nobody's gonna notice it.
Like, in today's day and age, like being a woman is you know, becoming easier with the way that things have been changing the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, the sex drive of a man is absolutely a force to be reckoned with, and it can only be reckoned with firepower. Like that is the only thing at the end of the day. If a guy has gone fucking crazy and wants to prowl on you, like the dude smoking his cigarette in the car. And I was gonna say, it's really good that you're aware of your surroundings like that, because most women really aren't. Like they don't notice. I've seen this guy 3 times. Now I see him in the car. He pulled out at the same time as me. That's really good that you're aware of that situational awareness, because a lot of women just are completely clueless. And then they're like, how is this guy at my front door? I just saw him 3 times in the supermarket. Now he's coming in my window.
Right. It's weird though. I mean, I'm oblivious at times, like at the gym, because I know I'm in a public place, like, and I'm pretty safe. But like when I exit places, you know, and things like that, I'm always aware of, you know, but I was taught that way by my parents years ago, you know, so it's just kind of, but everyone should be. Don't be on your phone in a bank parking lot. I mean, at night, I mean, you see people doing these things, and I'm like, are you stupid? Like, you just never know.
It's a crazy world we live in now.
Damn, I didn't know that, you got your license to carry. That's cool.
Just like so fucking bad.
I gave Josh a gun for,
Gave me a badass
for
gun.
Christmas.
I mean, I kept meaning to ask you. Do you know exactly what it's called?
Yes, it's called a. I'll show you a funny YouTube video with some rednecks shooting the shit out of it. It's SKAAR, I believe. I'll get you the stuff for it. I have it. Paul has the actual box for it too. I gave Josh and I shot this back earlier in the year. We shot this Miami Vice theme video, and I had this gun that Josh used in the video, and most normal people would use a prop gun, but he loved the gun. And then when we went to the range, he was like, "Please let me buy this gun from you," and I was like, "Nope." And that happened a couple more times. And then on Christmas, I was like, you know, I can't think of anything good to get him. Like, and I have less money thanks to all this goddamn divorce shit than I used to, so I can't go out and like buy fancy stuff anymore. But I knew that he loved the gun so much. I was like, you know what? He loves this gun, you know, more than I do. Rather than going out and buying him something that he may not. I know he would appreciate it because he's a good guy like that. But I don't want to give him something that wouldn't be important or he wouldn't use. So I knew that he would really like that, because every time we shot it, he loved it even more than me. So I felt like very pleased to give that to him.
Yeah, I want to see it. Well, I think I did see it, and I saw it in the photos.
Well, yeah, the only down part to that video was that the magazine wasn't loaded, which was smart. Yeah. I mean, you know, we didn't need to have a loaded gun playing around. Smart. And some of the haters online were like, "Oh, the clip's empty when you put it in." Yeah. You know how haters will find anything to hate on. You know.
They just want to talk crap.
Yep. Well.
That stash you got going, I like it.
Oh, thank you so much.
But, you know, every now and then, you know, I like a nice mustache on a guy.
What about beards?
Yeah, I'm iffy on the beards. No offense.
No, that's good.
But
honesty is good.
Mustache here and there is nice. You
You're
know,
making
kind
me
of
very
cheesy, but
happy right now.
It's funny, beards are so popular now.
I know.
It's funny. Marissa said something like the way that she thinks of things I find to be like so like cute and amusing. So somebody was like, you should tell PJ to grow a beard, which would never happen. I would not grow a beard. It's not for me. And she was like, I wouldn't be able to handle you with a beard. And I said, why? And she goes, I don't know. You'd just be too masculine then.
You would be way too fucking
And I'm like,
masculine.
so I'm less masculine now? What does that mean? And she's like, no, you're just really masculine now.
Yeah.
But I feel like you'd be too masculine with the beard. And I was like, that's the determining factor in my masculinity. I think that's really cute and funny. I was like, well, don't worry. I won't be overly masculine and grow a beard then.
It's not determining. It's just attributing. So, like, I'll say when I cut my beard, I immediately feel like I get less respect.
Okay.
Because people just look at you and they're like, oh, you baby face, skinny little boy. And I'm like, but
I like your baby face.
I'm a big man. And they're like, no, you grow out the beard. They're like, all right, this dude cuts down trees. He builds houses. Like, this is a real man.
Yeah, well, no beard in my future. I can't really grow hair like quality anyway. It's like patchy and it just
No.
I'm not a hairy guy.
Not for everyone.
No.
I mean, it's suiting for him. I don't know. Maybe because I have not looked at him any other way. This is what I know of him. So it's good though. But I just used twist in it. It was kind of cool. It's like,
Yeah.
that's
I'm trying to
fun.
get it to
He's
do
the
natural
colonel.
thing without the wax.
He
I don't
is
want
the
to use
colonel.
wax. I just wanted to do it.
You can train it if you keep doing
Yeah,
that.
and honestly, it's more and more. Like every week, it works a little more.
So Marissa's like dying to. So she's a hairstylist, but I don't trust women when it comes to like cutting like a man's hair. Sorry, ladies, if you're listening. And I think a lot of guys are like
I
that.
couldn't agree more.
So she wants to like give me an edge up so bad because I'm like in between barbers right now. I got a new guy that's pretty good, but he doesn't want to like cater to my needs the way I need because I need somebody to come to me because my day is basically longer than most barbershops are open. And there's so many important things in my day that to like go to get my hair cut for an hour usually would screw me up. So I had a guy that was coming here for years, and now I have a guy that will come to my house at night. But I wanted to lay down like how important it is to him so he understands. And Marissa was like, well, I could try to cut your hair. And I was like, you could definitely not cut my hair. And she's like, why? And she's like, I'm good. She's like, I had to do man when I was going through school. And I was like, listen, if you brought like a test model in here and I watched you do him first, maybe, but I'm not letting you try. She's like, it'll grow back in a week. Your hair grows so fast. I'm like, I still don't want to be screwed up for a week.
No, I 100% agree with you. And the only point I'm going to make is like, maybe give it a shot for like maybe like 2 weeks in a row just to see, because there's always going to be something about the way that your girl sees you versus everybody else.
Yes.
She's going to want to make it extra perfect in the way that Barber wasn't.
Yes,
I
I
know
agree.
what I'm saying? Like, and as she gets better at it, she'll know more how it works, and she'll put that extra step of love in there, and it's right there at your house.
I know. Trust me, I want to see if she can because it'll save me a lot of money. Because when I make the guy come to my house, I'm like, listen, if you come to my house, I'll give you $100. So that's once a week. Think about that. That's friggin' $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
Give her a chance. She will make. Give her a chance, PJ.
Yeah, everyone's going to listen to this podcast and tell me to give her a chance, and then you're going to see me with a shaved head.
Don't do that. I would say give it at least 2 weeks to let her get the hang of it. But I think that it could be like one of those like symbiotic type relationships like you see like back in the day, the old black and the white photo of like the man shaving his beard and the woman's like holding the cream and shit for him,
Maybe. We'll see. Kendra, do you want to say goodbye? Because we have to definitely get to my questions because we have FDA lawyers here today. Yay. And we have to get ready for those guys soon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to kind of what everybody thinks about the podcast and what a good way to bring in 2019, like the first month of the year. So
where's your next appearances going to be for anybody listening?
Oh gosh, let me think. Oh, it'll be at the AVN Awards, so I'll be there in Vegas. The 20. Look at your face. Look at you. You're whispering something under your breath.
Because you know what? I should put him on the spot, but I won't. David said that you wouldn't be able to be at the booth, so there's no reason to do it. And she was like, "Yes, I would." So that's why we didn't do it.
But like, I would. Most of my time would be there. I would maybe be at my booth, at the agency booth for an hour, but my priority would be there.
I wanted to go so bad. It's a shitty time though. It's the same goddamn week as LA Fit Expo.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, there's always next year. So, but yeah, so I'll be there from the 23rd until like the 27th. And then I host in Vegas in February. I shoot like 4 scenes in, I don't know, in LA. And then I'm in Mexico City, whatever. I'm all over. So we're all over. Yeah.
When's the next big event that Entice can be at?
We need to collab. So that would be, usually it is they do 3 or 4 a year. So I believe that the Exotica texted us or emailed us. So we'll have to just kind of refer back to the email. But there's 4 conventions this year. I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 this year.
Chicago is one, right?
Chicago, New Jersey. And then they did Denver. I don't know where the other one's going to be. They always do like a new city of some sort.
Is there one in Florida?
There was years ago, but it's just they don't do it there. And I don't know why. Maybe because there's so much going on down there already.
Yeah, we need to bring that back.
Shot.
I was so surprised at how tame the crowd was at Exotica. But I also think that they don't serve alcohol, so I think that's a factor too, because you don't have like drunk crazy people unless they get drunk before they go. But I expected to see like guys getting taken out with security and stuff like that, and it was pretty tame.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they have security's not that great, but I think most of the people kind of know how to act. There's always a few douchebags running around, but
Kendra's line was crazy long the entire time. I was very, very impressed. And the guys would come over and they'd be like, when does Kendra get here? And I'd be like, oh, she's going to be here at this time. And like by the time she got there, there was people that like were lined up like all the way down the row. And I walked around and nobody else had a line the way that you did.
Yeah, it's usually pretty good. And I'm grateful for that. So I'm glad that, my existing fans, and hopefully I made some new fans and friends. So yeah.
Cool. I thought it was very impressive how engaging you are with the fans also, because that's something I pride myself on. I stay in the booth, at all the big bodybuilding shows, and I talk to everybody, especially the people that, are there specifically for me and they want to tell me, stories and whatnot. I always make sure that I give them, attention and make them feel good. And I felt that was one of the things that you did. Not that I saw everyone in the building, but I felt that you were the most engaging with your fans too.
Yeah, I try to. Sometimes there's that fine line to like, a fan will kind of keep coming back over, and it's like, you want to be, I don't know. I think sometimes it's hard to manage time though sometimes too, because you don't want to rush people through, but then you have the same person coming back. So, you just play it by ear, go with the flow. But I have fun. I love it. Awesome.
Well, we'll let you get going, and we'll wrap up my sciencey stuff in a minute. But thank you so much for coming on. I knew that I was going to be – I told Marissa because I had very bad anxiety today, and she was like, you'll have a good day. And I was like, you know what? As soon as the podcast is done, I'll be in a good mood for the rest of the day. So
yep. Well, really, as soon as it started, put me in a good mood.
Yeah, I did too. I was just very anxious about making sure that we started on time. Nothing went wrong with the audio or whatever. Like I'm very like, when it comes to like any of the stuff that we're not doing regularly, I feel like, all right, this is our one shot that we got to do it perfect, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like it was just me and you. If something was fucked up happened now, we'll redo it.
Whatever, no big deal, because we've done that before too.
So
you should feel that way with me too, though. Like about this, that podcast. Like, I think fans are pretty understanding, and if not, for the most part, hopefully, and I don't make a big deal,
No, you're easy. It's just me. It's the pressure that I put on myself. I'm hard on myself. So
yeah. PJ, you're gonna have an amazing day now.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone, have a great day.
We thoroughly appreciate you coming on the podcast and being such a good sport about all the anal and other questions that we had. And it's not often that we get somebody so comfortable with being so honest about something that's so taboo in the world, and we hope to have you back on soon for sure.
I will be. So yeah, just let me know, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, so back from our intermission, sadly, Kendra Lust is no longer with us. She had to go do some fitness-related things. But we are going to finish out the podcast by answering the questions that were reserved for just PJ and myself. There's not too many of them. Thank you to everybody that sent in questions for Kendra Lust. That was great content
Very
for
good
us.
content,
We
guys.
loved all the
Thank
anal
you.
questions and everything. Especially OG Fit.
Yes.
You're the man. All right. This next one says, hey, PJ, wanted to start off by saying the podcast has really helped me turn my life back around in terms of fitness goals. I have 2 questions. 1, I have recently been prescribed medication for ADHD. Wanted to know if taking Chosen One or Halo Elite would interact with my medication. 2, I'm currently cutting some weight and doing keto, and if an IF, intermittent fasting, would Trojan Horse break my fast? Thank you guys so much for all that you do. Instagram, GAQUILINO 59.
Good questions. The answer to the first one is no. Wait a minute. Yes, there's no interference with your ADHD medicine and those 2 products. And will Trojan Horse interfere and break your fast? No, it will not.
Oh. Quick and easy. This one was kind of confusing me. I read it earlier when I was going through trying to find the Kendra ones.
Okay.
The subject just says why.
Okay, why?
And it says, and for everybody that watches the podcast and every week watches me read these questions, and sometimes I sound really dumb reading them, I'm reading them exactly
the way
as
they're written.
exactly as they're
That's
written.
what he's doing.
And I do try my best if I can see what they meant to improvise as I go through, but sometimes I just can't figure it out. It says, Mai said he takes 1 pill for his shoulder and it stopped hurting, and he gave 4 pills. I tried it and my shoulder stopped hurting for about 2 weeks. What's in it that stopped pain?
So what I think he's saying is that orthobolic is supposed to be 4 caps total a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, and he only took 1, and it helped his shoulder. And it's the synergistic effect of all the ingredients in there, if that's what you are asking me. If you are not asking me that, then I don't know.
I'm happy that you said orthobolic because honestly, I probably never would have come across that.
I think that's what it is. So,
because I've never taken orthobolic. Well, I mean, I have taken it, but I haven't taken it since we first released it. I didn't know that it was 4 pills.
Yeah.
All right. It says, hi, for the meal plan, what are seasonings that are okay to use? Salt, pepper, garlic powder, etc. What should I be cooking the protein in? Oil, butter, cooking spray? And do you have to use red wine vinegar or apple cider? Can you eat the salads plain or with anything other than a vinegar? Thanks, Casey Hamilton.
You can use any seasoning that has no calories in it, and there's endless amounts. That's how Mrs. Dash got famous. That's how Flavor God got big. Is all these different varieties of flavors that you can put on your food. Just got to watch and see if there's any sugar in them, because you don't want any of those sugar calories when you're on a ketogenic diet. Now, if you're just trying to get bigger, then it doesn't matter. As far as cooking your food, when you're on a ketogenic diet, it's completely safe to cook your food with oil. And there's different oils that you can use to cook. Macadamia nut oil is great to cook with. Coconut oil, avocado oil. You can cook with all those oils very, very efficiently. It's not really good to cook with extra virgin olive oil because the smoke point is really not high, and you'll burn the oil and the food will taste shitty. So now, realistically, on a ketogenic diet, you could use friggin' vegetable oil, canola oil if you want to, because it's still just fats. Those are not necessarily heart healthy compared to some of the other ones, but you're still going to be in the right range of macros when you're doing that. If you're trying to keep the calories as restricted as possible, then you would just want to use something like PAM and heat the food up like that. For the salad, apple cider vinegar is going to be the best thing that you can have, right? And the reason I'm saying that is there's no calories and there's lots of health benefits to it. So I give a red wine vinegar option because some people just really don't like the taste of apple cider vinegar, but they still want something on their salad. Red wine vinegar, has a bitter but good taste. The problem with balsamic vinegars is there's a little bit of sugar in there that'll wind up potentially, if you're eating too much of it, throwing you out of ketosis if you're sensitive. So you can eat it dry, of course. If you want, you can salt it or something like that if you want to add some flavor to it. You don't have to have the vinegars on it.
All right. Says blood work. Hello, PJ. I take HRT from a doctor, about 200 milligrams of Cypionate a week. Broke up on Monday and Thursday. I also take half of an Arimidex a week. My blood work came back out of whack. My blood work is as follows: estradiol less than 5, total estrogen 129,
Wow.
sex hormone binding globulin 30.3, total test free and total 698, liver enzymes, I think it's blank, aspartate aminotrans 157.
Did he just write it, or did he actually send the blood work?
I think he just wrote it.
Let me look at this for a second. I'm sorry for the awkward silence. He wrote this in such a weird way.
Yeah.
Listen, to the person that sent their blood work in, Frank, send this to me in an email, pj@blackstonelabs.com. Just please send me the actual blood work, because I can't really make out the way that you wrote this. I'm sorry. And then I'll go from there. If what you're asking is if they tested your AST and ALT and they were in the triple digits, that's not good. That's not going to end your life tomorrow, but it's certainly not good. It means you're not going in a proper direction. If you're not taking anything oral, they should not be nearly that hard. To give you, I'll give you an example. I just got my blood work done, and my numbers were very good. My AST and ALT were like 45. And, that's where you want to be. That's a great number to be at. Now, if you double that, you really want to watch out. And if you're into the triple digits, then you really, really, really need to start addressing it. That's where things like liver care, TUDCA, glutathione come into play. So send me the email, and I'll be able to if you put the actual blood work in it, I'll be able to tell you what you need to do. And I apologize for not being able to answer it perfectly here.
Next one says, can you explain to me the importance of ubiquinol, how it works, so I can understand the importance?
It's just the purest form of CoQ10. So CoQ10 is very, very important for maintaining proper heart health. So, there's things that people do addressing the heart from the outside in, and that's when they do things like fish oils, right? Because fish oils will help, your cholesterol levels more, but people usually don't do enough to help the heart from the inside out, and that's where the ubiquinol comes into play. I'll tell you a really cool story. Is I sat on a plane with a world-renowned open heart surgeon. It was a really cool experience to sit with this guy, and he could tell that I was a bodybuilder, juiced out, I'm sure, and started talking about stuff with me. And then I found out that he was a surgeon, and he told me a story of he had a man that was on a heart transplant list, only 30 years old, that had just really, really abused himself with steroids and recreational drugs. And he also had a existing condition that obviously didn't help any of that stuff. And so while he was on the transplant list, he put him at a dose of 1,500 milligrams of ubiquinol a day. So that's high. Most of the pills are going to be 200 or 300 milligrams. So after 30 days on the transplant list, they had his blood tested again, and his heart was performing dramatically better. And then on day 60, he still wasn't ready for a donor yet. There still wasn't a donor in line for him. His heart was functioning so well that they actually took him off the donor list. Now, that is extremely rare, of course, and by no means was he trying to say that ubiquinol will make your heart not die when you're having these kind of, potential like heart failures. But as a doctor after that, he put his whole family on higher doses of ubiquinol. I've always taken a higher dose of ubiquinol, and it will just really, really, really help your heart perform better.
And that was the last one for us.
It's a pretty important organ, guys. You don't want to slack on the insides. Everybody slacks on the insides. They want to know what's going to get them bigger and smaller, and they always ask like, "Oh, well, I'm not taking this. Should I not take gear support?" And like, why would you not care about the organs on the inside? I'm most concerned about my organs, maybe because I've seen a lot of people die at this point.
Even
but
if you're not taking anything to put yourself at a detrimental risk of hurting your organs, you all should know just from existing in the world that like you don't have to smoke cigarettes to get lung cancer. So if you could just take a pill every day to help keep your insides healthy, what individual would not benefit from that?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer to me. I mean,
whether you're really toxic or really healthy, it's probably better to have it.
There's plenty of study on that stuff. And I personally, like, if you're going to supplement your life, where if it's important to you to be lean, you're going to supplement with like body, fat burners, right? If it's important to you to be strong, you'll take things to get stronger. But if it's important to you to live a long and healthy life, like, why wouldn't you take stuff to help you out there? So I actually double the dose of gear support, and I take other things the Blackstone Labs doesn't even make, for my organs, because I'm so concerned. I don't think that I'm going to be so lucky that I'm not going to have any of these ailments at one point. So I want to at least get my body as healthy as it can for as long as it can. And the longer you live, the more risk you have for these things getting fucked up. Excuse my language. So I'd rather have it be way later down the road than earlier. And you see a lot of people have heart attacks early these days. So taking
Younger
something
and
that's
younger.
heart healthy is very important.
Yep. It's younger and younger that people are having these conditions and ailments that we used to only see in 50, 60, 70-year-old people that now you're seeing in 30, 40, 50-year-olds, and it's shit ain't looking good. So why would you not want to, take a little bit of it? Just like I asked before about the guns thing, you have car insurance, right? Like, bad shit can happen. Why not take out a little insurance policy?
We knew a guy from Busybody West that was like 32, I believe, when he told me this, that he had a heart attack, and it was from just massive amounts of caffeine.
We've talked about this on the podcast before. You start going to that second scoop range, you're looking to get addicted.
This guy was having, he said, about 12 to 1,500 milligrams of caffeine a day.
I'm totally kidding about that too. For everybody that thinks I'm serious, like, we're gonna have questions next week, like, more than 2 scoops is addictive?
Well, 3 scoops, even if you spread it out the day, of Dust V2 would be 1,200 milligrams of caffeine. That's a fucking lot of caffeine.
It's too much.
When you go to get a coffee, from Dunkin' Donuts, depending on the size of your coffee, unless you're getting like a large, you're only going to get about 200 milligrams of caffeine.
There's 80 milligrams of caffeine in a standard Red Bull, and your PTA moms go absolutely insane about having a single shot of vodka with one of these bad boys. Yep. And you're talking about 1,200 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't need no alcohol with it. That shit's just bad.
Think about it. You could drink, if you drank 10 Red Bulls, that's 800 milligrams of caffeine. So this person was doing, 25%, 50% more than that.
That just seems so easy to me. Like, I could easily crush 10 of those right now.
Well, let's say that I think there may be like 200 milligrams in a Monster. Yeah. And so let's say you have let's say the average person has a cup or 2 of coffee in the morning, and maybe you have a Monster midday. You're at like 500 milligrams of caffeine, maybe 600. And then if you do a pre-workout, maybe up around 1,000. And
then if you double dose your pre-workout.
Yeah. So like, it's not hard to get the numbers higher. And when you're doing it all the time, combined with a couple other things that may not be all that healthy, this is what makes me see like younger and younger people having, heart attacks. It freaks me out that people in their 30s are having heart attacks, but more reason, to take care of yourselves, guys. So
all the more reason to have precaution that you aren't one of these examples.
Somebody's calling me on WhatsApp. What the hell? I don't even know who it is either. Saeed. Anyway, Generation Iron actually reached out to me on New Year's and said that the Muscle Mogul stuff will be ready pretty soon. So I'm
is that ever happening?
Very excited about that. They actually reached out to me.
About us.
I made a joke to them once, and they were like, "There's so much footage to go through. That's why it's been taking a while." But they
got my fucking good side.
They said they were going to send me something to look at pretty soon, so I'm very excited about that.
I hope it's mostly a clip of me.
Maybe it will be.
Jesus.
Well, I'm done with all the questions. So
if you're done with the questions, and I'm done with the questions, and Kendra's done with the questions, and Eric looks like he's ready to kill himself over there in the corner, so we're going to end this thing like we always do with a peace out. Bye. Cool.